Redbreast 27-year-old single pot still Irish whiskey. Is this worth the upgrade? Stay tuned for the Whiskey Whistle. Greetings, my whiskey people. Mark Kaufman here for Whiskey Whistle on YouTube, sharing a little whiskey awesomeness from Winnipeg, the center of North America, bringing you a very special Irish whiskey. It's a single pot still Irish whiskey that is Redbreast 27-year-old. 27-year-old. And not only that, it's cask strength. This, by the way, is batch number 2. And the proof, pardon me, is, I always forget this, 53.5% ABV. So that's quite high for a 27-year-old whiskey, especially one that is a standard, special release in this case. I guess they put that out yearly or every so often. So anyway, Redbreast 27-year-old single pot still. You might recall my 21-year-old Redbreast review, which I really quite liked. And I think that despite its, $300 price tag, offers good value for its intensity of flavor for an Irish single pot still that's got good age. And that's hard to find. Let's get this poured. Whoops, as I spilled some down the side of my professional blender's glass. That's not quite enough, I don't think. Oh yeah, this is spilling everywhere. Terrible, terrible, Mark, terrible. Okay, I'll have to tidy that up. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we are. I mean, probably if I were alone, I would just lick that outside for fear of missing out. FOMO. What does it taste like on the outside of the glass? All right, enough fun and games. You might have noticed that I have changed my logo a little bit everywhere. Facebook, here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Oops, I think I forgot to do TikTok. I'll do that. And basically, I've just put my logo, turn it black, and put that on the background of the Ukrainian flag. I hope that the world comes together in support of Ukraine. Anyway, back into the whiskey. All right. So what makes this different is, of course, the extra 6 years. Pardon me, the extra 6 years. We have higher strength, but we also have another cask involved here, and those are ruby port casks. And looking at the color of the whiskey, I don't really see the typical pink tint that I often do see. That could be the bright lights here. They have colored the glass in a beautiful red hue, which looks amazing in these lights. But let's have a look at the color of the whiskey first of all. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Whiskey Whistle. That's right over here. Hit the bell, ding ding, so you're notified of future Whiskey Whistles. And if you're enjoying the content, well, leave me a comment and like the video. But also check me out on Patreon and support the channel with just a nominal amount of funds to help me fund this channel. That's patreon.com/Whiskey Whistle. Join the Whiskey Whistle crew. You'll get you'll get your name in the credits at the end of the video. You'll also get advanced notice of future Whiskey Whistle videos. And last but not least, you'll earn yourself a Whiskey Whistle glass. And I'll have new ones coming soon, like so. And that'll be after about 3 months of support. So hopefully we'll see you there, okay? Okay, so the color, first of all, what do we see there for color for Redbreast 27? To my eyes, it is basically a nice coppery hue. I don't see much of a pinkish tint, but of course the sherry casks, the bourbon casks that are also involved here may have had their influence, after such a long time. No, I don't get the pinkish hue, but that's a nice dark color. Probably some color added. This is an American release, 750 milliliters. Yes. So we don't see anything about mit Farbstoff or mit Zuckercolor. So with caramel in Danish and German. So anybody who's there, you can look at the back of your label and just leave a comment as to whether this has color added. 27 years old, cask strength. Some great casks. It should not have any, especially because this is a batch release. A real batch release, a real small batch. All right, so that's the color. Let's check the legs out together real quick. And after that, we'll get into the nose, the palate, and the finish. Neat, and then with a little bit of water, and then give it a WhiskyWhistle whiskey score. And if you've tried this, if you're thinking of getting it, if you've already got the 21 and you're curious, I'd love to hear your thoughts in a comment. Okay, so let's check these legs out. Hopefully this works with this Wicked glass. Let's see. Actually, it does work very well. The legs are slow to start here. They're about halfway down. And just reaching the bottom now. So that's pretty slow, actually. And fairly numerous juicy looking legs. I think that's because of the glass. But when I'm looking at the secondary legs, they're just barely moving. So it's telling me that the age combined with the cask content, combined with the heavy single pot still distillate, all these things are making this to be a very thick viscous whiskey. And let's check to see if that translates into something that's also nice and enjoyable in mouthfeel. Ooh, boy. All right. So pretty special. This is a bottle that I've selected for the Winnipeg Whiskey Club, our St. Patrick's Day Irish whiskey tasting. I think I'll just leave it as St. Patrick's Day whiskey tasting in order to get the most possible hits on social media. Yes. Okay, so again, yes, the nose, where were we? Wow. I mean, it's just super potent. You really have to take your time with this. Get your nose back far from the glass. That was a mistake. Oh boy. But I get lots of leather. Leather is one of the first things I'm noticing here from the age. Lots of fruity flavors, but again, lots of this age, like the leather, the library, leather encyclopedias with the gold pages, old Bibles, the old traditional all wood kind of church or lawyer's office smell. But yeah, there's some nice fruit in there. And I'm getting some powdered sugar glazed raspberry. Some kind of a spiced dark fruit compote. There's a lot of wood spice here, lots of active wood casks going on there. It's got a fresh zinginess to it. And yes, it's unmistakably Irish whiskey. One would never assume that this was single malt. Not even a single malt Irish whiskey. And it doesn't really come off as a bourbon. There's something kind of rye-esque about that. That's that green, unmalted barley. I don't think they use oats or any other tertiary grains, which they allow, I think, up to 5%. So there's none of that in there. Otherwise, they would make mention of it. But there's something, again, just very, very old, very viscous, vaporous. By the way, I'm going to get rid of this box. It's just too big. It's gorgeous. And I love the accent. Of course, that adds considerable number of dollars to the cost of the bottle. Definitely something that you probably want to hang on to for your whiskey clubhouse, or if you've got a nice bar in your basement, that might be something you want to hang on to as a memento. Memento? Memento. Memento is the movie. Coming back to this, of course, there's no corn spirit in this, but it reminds me of the succulent, sweet, straight corn whiskey essence in there, and I think that's the green barley working in there. But you get a little bit of like that sweet type of machine shop oil that they use. It smells of oil, but it's also got this kind of a sweet, weird funk to it. Really, really interesting nose. I'll be very interested to see how this smells with water added. But I'm salivating here. It's that time. We're going to get into the palate. So cheers, everybody. Cheers to everybody in Ukraine. Let's check this out together. Super zingy. Not as aggressive as I would have thought for cask strength. And much more fruity, varied, complex on the palate, as opposed to the nose that we tried neat. And this has been open now for about 2 or 3 weeks. And I did try a little taste before I sent a sample off. And it really does need the time open. So if you do get a bottle of this and you're interested in Redbreast and you love the 21 especially, you want to pour yourself a sample, give it a taste, put it back in your cupboard for 2 or 3 weeks, and then come back to it. And you will be so happy you did that. Seriously. So initially, you get the rush of that silky, delicately sweet, fresh grain flavor, kind of like that straight corn whiskey I was talking about. That's what comes first. It's buttery. It is very, very silky. And then it just blossoms into this really fruity experience, reminiscent of the 21. It's actually very much of the ilk of the Redbreast 21. Not so much the 15 or the 12 cask strength, which I think I've mentioned before, but I'm just not that into. I've got it over there, the 12 cask strength. Maybe we'll pull that out just for a quick sip in a little while. And for those who don't know, this is Redbreast. This is from Middleton Distillery. Middleton is, I guess, really the only current distillery in Ireland that's got the old stock available for single pot still. You get your age-stated Redbreast. You get age-stated the spots, the blue spot, red spot, yellow spot, green spot. I think they put that in backwards order there. But the spots, and then you also get the Middleton itself. Like that guy. And these are released as per the bottle year with no age statement. 40% ABV, which is, should be changed, but it's just a real classic bottle. That's an older version. They've since updated the bottle shape. But anyway, so that's the Middleton Distillery and their single pot still whiskeys. Let's check out what types of fruit we have in here. A lot of tropical fruit. Big guava. Ripe guava. There is also some ripe papaya seeds in there. The seeds are very, very fragrant. And actually they're quite sweet when you just try to suck the slime that those seeds are sort of encapsulated by. And a little bit tannic, a little bit bitter, but there's a real neat flavor there. And someone asked me, come on, papaya seeds? But seriously. Anyway. And somewhere in between that silky green and the tropical fruit, we've got the sweet raspberry, fresh raspberries working in there. I guess that's the ruby port coming through here. Finish is crazily fruity. A little drizzle of just like a sweet, I don't know, agave syrup. And it's drier than it is sweet, so it's a little bit of not fully dry, not medium dry, a little bit more than medium dry. But the fruit is just so intense that it works really, really well here. And I don't get a sense of this high ABV on the palate. But anyway, I want to get into the nose here with water. So let's add a little bit of water here. I've got my little watering can back. That would have been about 2 to 3 milliliters. Give it a little bit of a mix. I'm missing my pipette, my little thing. It's missing. I'll have to try to locate that. I really, really miss it. I get much more exact with that, which is nice. But hey, let's just go with what we got. So the nose then with water added for Redbreast 27. There's a coffee kind of chocolatey something coming through there now that I've added water. So it seems to have worked with that unusual scent that I couldn't quite pick out. And now we're getting it as a roasted coffee, a little bit of dark chocolate, like 90% dark chocolate. And then you got that fruit in there, so it's like some kind of a really neat single origin, 90% chocolate, 90% cocoa chocolate. Pardon me. I'm out of practice here. It's really, really interesting. That's quite a nice progression, and that's about like the best you can expect is something to change from the bizarre and very enticing to something very recognizable on the nose with water added. And again, reason to add water, pardon me. Okay, so again, the palate now with water. it really becomes this delicious fruit bomb. There's a little bit of like a fruit, herbal tea, fruit influenced, kind of a black tea. Like imagine if you've got something like a raspberry black tea, or even a bit of peach, a little bit of stone fruit, a little bit of the tropical. We still have the guava. We still have the papaya seeds, a bit of underripe mango. A bit of nice ripe dragon fruit. So this is just all over the place. I'm going to add one more dollop of water here. It should get chocolatier. Let's see. Yes, much chocolatier now. Less roasted coffee, just straight up dark chocolate now. What a surprise. Okay, so then the palate. Still very fruity. Nothing really changed. You know, I'm going to do this. I'm going to add a fair bit more water, because I know that something is going to give in the palate to tell me something more about this whiskey. Developing some citrus on the nose now, alongside the cocoa. Ooh, very lemony now. This is really interesting. Still have the leather. We still have the old books. Well, really excited to try this. I think I need a little sip of water first. Ooh, a bit of lemon pledge, lemon polish. Ooh, interesting. A little bit of lemon candy. More citrus on the palate. A bit of lemon vanilla working in there. And we get more access to the guava, which is nice. That's about perfect. We've toned down the dryness, and the sweetness is a little bit more evident. So yeah, I think you're going to want to add about a good teaspoon of water to really effectively taste this for everything that it's got going for it. Something blood orange-esque is happening there. And what that flavor is an orange that is turning in a different way than the normal oranges do, and is developing a sweetness alongside that slightly, it must be alcoholic flavor that's developing in that blood orange as it turns bright red. So that's interesting. All right, having a blast here. Let's get back into this. The last taste. Really, really, really lovely. This has so much going for it. The only thing that it has not got going for it is the price, which I can't quite tell you right now, but I want to say about $800-ish here in Manitoba. That's pretty pricey for a 27-year-old, but comparatively, you think about the prices of 27-year-old single malt Scotch whiskey, especially if it's cask strength, and it'll be the same price or higher. So I guess it's priced right, but the thing is that who's buying these, and are they opening them? Are they enjoying them? Are they sharing them with their clubs? Because the club is the place where a bottle like this can actually make sense, which in this case, everybody's going to be thrilled with this, I think. And to answer the question, so if you're going from Redbreast 21 and you really enjoy it, should you spend a little bit of your yearly bonus money, your Christmas money, and jump in and grab a bottle of Redbreast 27? I think if you're a Redbreast brand fan, absolutely. If you're an Irish single pot whiskey fan, and maybe you are involved in a whiskey club, for sure. For your everyday whiskey lover, I'm not sure, but let's first of all talk about the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Redbreast 27 single pot still Irish whiskey. What is that going to be, folks? It's going to be 95 out of 100. You heard it. 95 out of 100 is the WhiskyWhistle whiskey score for Redbreast single pot still, aged 27 years. And it gets that high score for a number of reasons. Supremely well crafted. Great casks involved there. I actually now doubt that there's any color added here. It's offered at cask strength. And if we just leave it at that, then it's ticked every single box. It's a little expensive. That's the only drawback here. So then I have to say, for your everyday whiskey lover who enjoys a bit of Scotch whiskey, maybe a lot of Scotch whiskey, some bourbon, some Irish, and they love that Redbreast 21, should they get it? Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe they shouldn't get it. Maybe they should stick to 21 and get 2 bottles of Redbreast 21 to cover them for a year, 2 years, depending on how many bottles you have and how well you can pace yourself through that bottle. So that's my point. Anyway, so everyday whiskey fans, that Redbreast 21, which is a splurge in and of itself, grab that. But if you're a Redbreast fanboy, fangirl, get it. Yes, get it. If you're involved in a whiskey club, absolutely. If you are an Irish single pot whiskey fan, you have to. There's just nothing else like this. Nothing else at all. This is going to be older than Middleton. So if you're in Ireland, you're watching this and you love your Middleton, you need this. This is Middleton. This is Middleton. It's nothing else but Middleton. It's just cask strength and presented with a little bit of different kind of cask influence. Final sip. And you know, if you are a straight bourbon whiskey lover, and you love your proof, it's got to be 100 proof or higher for me. Well, and if you like to experiment, this would be a great whiskey for you to try if you like high rye bourbons. I think this will tick some boxes for you. All right, well, should we do that? Should we try a little bit of Redbreast 12? Let's do that. Bought this years ago, and all the liquid that you've seen here is just me trying it again and again and again and again, because everybody's saying they love it, they love it, they love it. And I just didn't. So let's see what happens here. Whoa, that was a big pour. Whoops. So coming back from the 27, I get the nose. The nose is very, again, that it's got that that straight corn whiskey or high corn bourbon type of a nose. It smells like an old bourbon from the 80s, the 70s, and yeah, I've tried those. It's in the catalog. I have to say I'm more appreciative of the nose now. This is just an older, fruitier version. Much more bake shoppy, much more morning oatmeal with a bit of milk and sugar added. I get it, I do. It's much more interesting for me now than it was 3 years ago when I first got this. You'll recognize that's an old label that tells you how long ago this was. But it's just so aggressive. And you add water and it's still aggressive. And I think it's a different type of still management. I think that's the thing. And I think that whiskey, Redbreast Middleton whiskey, is really meant to go the distance. This is immaculate. Maybe 95 points isn't enough, but I'm just not ready to go beyond that. So anyway, 95 points. For me, this is, I don't even know if it's 80. It's high proof, but for my palate, and I do love cask strength whiskey, it's just too aggressive for me. So anyway, 95 points over here for Redbreast 27. Please leave your thoughts. Tell me what you think of Redbreast 12. Is that your favorite? Is that your go-to? If so, I apologize, but for me, this is the way Middleton whiskey, Redbreast whiskey, should be. Even the pots, I like them. I think the pots do a little bit better for me than the Redbreast at a younger age for whatever reason. But I'm waxing lyrical here. Time to wrap this up. Again, my name is Mark Kaufman. Thank you for watching. Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, check me out on Patreon, and we'll see you very soon. Take care, folks. Happy St. Patrick's Day.